And Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga has come out to explain why the contentious housing levy contribution under the Finance Bill 2023 should be made mandatory. Addressing journalists at State House in Nairobi on Wednesday, Hinga said the levy will serve as assurance to investors the government seeks to engage in putting up houses. Mesh Musimbi reports.
Housing Principal Secretary Charles Hinga has explained why a contribution to the proposed housing levy is mandatory. He said it ensured that the government could confidently get investors for the housing plan with the assurance that they will be able to pay them after construction is done.
The Kenyan government is providing land at no cost, like I have done in Park Road, for Kenyans to own homes. The Kenyan government is committed to bring infrastructure to that site. The Kenyan government is prepared to take away all these costs of approval. All I want you to do is bring your money, build those houses en masse. That's important. Build those houses en masse, and then when you finish building those houses, give me the keys, I pay you, you go. If I don't have the housing fund, they will ask me, how will you fund me when I finished in 3 years' time? Alafu tanza Kiingereza mingi waseme hapana hii siwezi jenga. That's why you need certainty of cash flows every month coming in into this fund so that we can get as many investors, which is foreign money that is coming in here, and also the domestic money that we have, so that we build those houses. So what I forget about what they're talking about, it's a tax. And let me address that part. Good people, you all pay taxes today.
Hinga revealed that before coming up with the plan, they benchmarked in various countries, including Nigeria, Brazil, China, and Singapore. The PS say they learned that the countries that have been successful in the plan decided to have a mandatory levy.
It's not a solution that is just crazy we thought about. We went to benchmark. We went to Singapore. We went to Mexico. We went to Brazil. We went to Nigeria, we went to China, many different places. And some of them we went to benchmark so that we know how not to do it. Because some of them, they have failed. What did they do? They said, let's save together. And that is a principle that most of us understand here because you belong to a chama somewhere or a sacco somewhere. So let's save together. And they did. And they told the employer, you save this, the employee will save that.
He spoke on Wednesday during a briefing on the proposal at State House, Nairobi.
What is so wrong with me assisting you to own a home in the next 2 years versus 9 years?
The proposed levy has been met with fierce criticism, with a section of leaders and Kenyans at large demanding the contribution be made voluntary.
Once we pull this money together, and it is driven by law, because I know most of you are saying, where is we fanya hiki tukue voluntary? You see, when it is driven by law, if I'm going to get $1 billion a month, it means I can confidently go out there and call investors and tell them, for as long as that law is there, 3 years from now, I'll still be collecting the $1 billion. So let me tell you in simple terms. You know today something called fuel levy.
The PS reiterated that the highest earning person contributing to the housing fund will only pay 2,500 monthly. This means that there are Kenyans who will pay as low as 1,000 Kenya shillings.
It is a mandatory contribution by employer and employee. And as Hussein has said, we have capped it at 2,500. So the highest earning Kenyan will only pay 2,500 shillings. Majority of Kenyans will pay 1,000 and below. That's number one. But then we pull our money together. And I have not even brought in the people who are going to pay voluntarily. Then what happens? We pay into this fund. Then as a country, we are able to go out there to the market and we call investors.
Hinga added that so far 524 parcels of land have been identified in major towns all over the country, and noted that Kenyans are at liberty to choose where they want to own a home.
You cannot buy more than one unit. So ile ati watanenda nunue nyumba 100 you cannot. For even the people who are making a lot of noise, because they are there and some of them have genuine issues, they say, why are you talking to me about a house? I already own one, or I'm already paying for one.
The proposal, which is housed in the Finance Bill 2023, is currently in the National Assembly.
We are going to review. The government does not do any business. It gets development funding from tax. But also, coming from where we were in the drought, we need to relook. And I have seen there is a lot of communication from members of parliament, which means we are going to sit and see where we can.
This bill is railroaded through parliament. Kenya Kwanza must prepare that we will have no option but to mobilize citizens around the country to fight for themselves.
The contribution you make in the housing fund is not a tax. Sio ushuru, hiyo ni pesa yako. Hiyo ni pesa yako, sio pesa ya ushuru. Na hiyo pesa yako ukitoa shilingi moja, yule ambaye ni amekuajiri anatoa shilingi moja.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Mesh Msimbi.